Welcome to Home Building in Christ, where Christ is our firm foundation for long lasting building. Hello, it's so exciting to welcome you to our new home builders community. We hope we're building in Christ and we're pouring into other people's lives once we feel strong and empowered in Christ to do so. The people in the world need to see love manifested in the family unit and in society eventually. So it's so important for us to share. It's so important for us to know what Christ has to say about family. So I believe this is a place where women who are married or who plan to marry and who really want to have victory in their homes. This is a place where these women will thrive. This community will be a resource for women who are not just concerned about their own rights and their own selves, but who are more concerned about having the victory in Christ. Because there's a difference. I mean, at some point, especially when you're a child of God, you have to make a choice between yourself and, I mean, when I say yourself, your flesh, you know, your ego, if you'd like to say it that way, your ego and actually winning, seeing victory, seeing the love of Christ triumph in your home. And so for women who really want to see Christ's love triumph in their homes, this is going to be really a place where they'll find the resources that they need, because the Lord really wants to make these resources available. So it's going to be a place of growth. There may be some things that you'll hear that will sound very odd, but honestly, it's going to be biblical. That's my desire. My desire is to stay biblical in my life, in this channel, in everything that I do. For me, the goal is for Christ and the word of Christ to be exalted and to lead. I'm the first of a family of 3, and I love my parents. I love my siblings. I have a sister and a brother, and a father and a mother that are still alive, and I bless God for their lives. I have to say that when I was young, this was one of my greatest challenges. One of my greatest fear was to lose a loved one. And that fear came really, really early. I was less than 7 years old, and the fear would grip me so hard that I would actually spend hours and hours meditating on them being gone. And it was really something very grieving. It's as if I was grieving over their departure day after day after day, before even anything had happened. And so it was so bad that at some point I started becoming depressed, and I really needed help. And that's when Christ stepped into my life. I was going to a Sunday school. I talk about this in the book too, but I was going in the Sunday school where there was a Sunday school teacher, who was so down to earth and so loving and so caring, that he actually explained the gospel to us as little kids. He really felt that the topic of the cross was important enough for him to break it down to us. And so he broke it down to us, and he told us, if you want to give your life to Christ, the only thing you need to do is just go into your room, and talk to Jesus and give him your life. And it was so beautiful, because he started by asking the question, do you know where you're going to go after death? And who is sure about where they're going to go after death? And I was kind of like, oh my goodness, this is a really good question. And after that, he presented the gospel, and he told us that if we wanted to give our lives to Christ, we could. And all we needed to do is just to talk to him in the secret of our, bedrooms or in our homes alone. And when I did that, honestly, I was just blessed with this utmost joy, and the burden that was on me, this depression that was coming upon me, was completely lifted up. Like, it was really lifted. And that's when my journey today, and say, Christ is the beginning of everything. And even when it comes to home building, Christ is the firm foundation on which we build. He's the one we build on. And so I'd like to ask you a question. If you haven't given your life to Christ, if you haven't trusted Christ with your life yet, why is that? And just what would it look like for you to make such a decision? Or what does that question trigger inside of you? And we're going to stop here, and I'll say see you next time, where we're going to talk a little bit more about the content.